What are you doing now?
You want to go fishing now?
Nah. I figure we'd, see a movie or something, get some pizza.
I can't.
What do you mean you can't?
We're just going to the mall. We go there sometimes.
And do what?
I don't know. Get
Mall
something
it
to
up.
eat. Some Mrs. Fields. Well, anyway, I gotta go. I'm meeting him there.
All right. Go ahead. See you later.
You need to go talk to Dr. Melfi.
Yeah, my girl did
There
the
we
same
go.
thing.
Yeah.
I don't think it's about him going to the mall with a group that bothered you. Wasn't it that he was going to the mall instead of going to the movies with you?
Mm-hmm.
I've heard you talk many times about being with your son.
Yeah, well, that's over now.
You're glad that they're growing up, but you're sad to lose them.
I could be going away for a very long time for something I didn't do. How about, gee, that's too bad, Anthony, or what a shame, Tony.
We can't go into specifics on this.
I could be going to the can for the rest of my fucking life, and I'm not supposed to discuss it with my psychiatrist? What the fuck are you for, anyway?
How does that make you feel? The idea that you might be sent to prison.
I just gotta stay around a little while longer for the kids, especially my boy. Once he's out of the house, the government can do whatever the fuck they want to do. Give me life, give me the fucking chair, whatever they want.
I've never seen you like this.
Like what?
Scared.
And I wouldn't use that word. But sometimes I feel, I don't know. You motherfuckers. You know, I don't fucking deserve this.
What are you doing here?
Could ask you the same fucking question.
It's my store. Hey, some of those airline tickets came in. You want me to split them with you and Richie?
They're mine. It's my idea. I remember when you transferred into 10th grade from Baden-Baden? Fucking army brat.
Hey, you remember when those Guidos from Patterson, they caught you up at Garrett Mountain, they had you barricaded in your old man's car, and I whipped that rock and hit that guy in the eye?
Don't reminisce on me.
He told me not to get in the game. Why'd you let me do it?
Well, I knew you had this business here, Davy. It's my nature. Frog and the scorpion, you know? If you would have won, I'd be the one crying the blues.
What's the end?
Planned bankruptcy. Hey, you're not the first guy to get busted out. This is how a guy like me makes a living. This is my bread and butter.
Tony is hilarious.
When this is over, you're free to go. You can go anywhere you want. Oh, for Christ's sake.
Yo, Tony's mindset isn't unique to him either. Like, plenty of successful businessmen think exactly like him. Like fuck you complaining about. Like, I'm the one who got to deal with all these issues. I'm the head of a company.
Where's Dad?
He couldn't make it. He called. He had a very important meeting. He'll be here next time.
This goes down, I'm out of this area code. And my wife's gonna come in here once a week for an allowance. You don't ask her any questions. She wants it all, you give it to her.
If you're gone longer than the money lasts?
Don't worry, you won't have to go into your own kick. This witness can't remain nameless forever.
I didn't hear that.
I hope you apologize to him.
For what?
Tony, you promised him you were going to be at his swim meet.
Oh, shit, I forgot.
Tony, he almost came in second. You should have seen his face when you weren't there.
Yeah, well, I saw his face the other day when he had to go to the mall when I wanted to take him to the movies.
Oh.
Are you 6 years old? So where were you? Did you go see Christopher at the hospital?
Yeah, I went to see Christopher at the hospital.
Wherever you were, it couldn't have been more important than letting your son know that you care about him.
No, only you care. Fuck you.
No, fuck you! Fuck you! You fuck you!
Oh, shit.
You. Hey.
My God, you scared the shit out of me.
No, shut him off. You know I love you, right, man?
Dad.
No, don't dab me. Come on. I want to know. Do you know that I love you?
Yes.
Because your mother doesn't think I love you enough.
Can you listen to her?
Everything I do,
Oh, here we go.
and everything I've done, and everything I will do, it's all for you and your brother. You know that. You're all me. Nothing gets by you. And I know you think I'm a hypocrite.
I'm going to bed.
Yeah, all right, go ahead.
Sometimes we're all hypocrites.
Red cooler. Yo, they taking that motherfucker for everything.
Somebody even talked me into papering the back of the door here. I must have been out of my mind.
Oh.
Oh, Jesus.
This a dream.
Oh, Oh, Jesus, Mary and Joseph, I swear to God, I never did anything like this in my life
It's
before.
my fault. I couldn't help it.
No, I'd never felt like this before. Maybe not in years, maybe never.
Thank my nephew for this stuff.
Your nephew? This shit comes from my end. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Take it back. The sneakers are from Tony.
Cock.
This Catino bastard is like a license to steal. And what's he throwing your way? Bugats. It's a garbage thing. He's already taken your townships. Now he's fucking with mine? You and I both know he's gotta go.
That's my nephew you're talking about.
This fucking guy was supposed to be laid out on Midland Avenue a year ago. I know it, and you know it.
Let me tell you who's not a good kid. That niece of mine. I left my brother's house one night, and my wallet was light. Talking about a 10-year-old girl here, Richie. Word to the wise, that's all I'm saying.
You came to the wrong dude with that. Oh, shit. NYU?
Accepted at Berkeley, accepted at NYU, waitlist Columbia, Penn I didn't make it, Bowdoin I didn't make it, BU accepted. Thanks, Grandma.
Oh, lock that door, will you?
And she did it. Oh.
But look, if it's a problem for me to come back, I've got another job in Wyckoff, and yours is far enough along that Ramon can finish up, so...
Well, I was thinking maybe tomorrow you could send Ramon to the other job. That way you and I would have a chance to talk, and maybe, you know, on your lunch break or something.
That would be so great.
And I could make a lunch for us.
How is this going to
maybe
go?
a galantine du poulet.
The victim has now further been identified as Matthew Bevilacqua, a Soprano family associate.
Fuck, give me that. Where's that detective's number?
On the fridge?
Those lying cocksuckers.
Retract my statement like a motherfucker.
On the fridge! On the fridge! Where on the fucking fridge? I knew it! But you had to be the big man!
I told you quit that snitching shit.
If you're gonna go back to Gamblers Anonymous, we'll figure out a payment plan. We'll get you back on your feet.
Gamblers Anonymous. Well, where the fuck were you when I dropped out in the first place? I was just twisting the fucking wind out there.
What?
Both of you. You and your fucking broom up her ass sister. You didn't give a fuck. You just fucking looked the other way.
No, it's our fault now. Don't you ever talk about Christine like that, ever.
Oh, fuck her. Fuck you.
How much did you fucking lose?
I wouldn't even ask him.
Everything.
What do you mean, everything?
Everything. For Christ's sakes, Vic, everything.
You disgust me.
I have to go chapter 11, and then the liquidators will come in and they'll pick through the bones.
As soon as Eric goes off to college, and by the way, he got into Georgetown today. You probably didn't know about that. But as soon as that kid's out of the house, you're packing your bags and you're keeping the fuck away from my sister.
Yeah.
David, don't tell me you blew Eric's college fund. Jesus. How could you do that? Well, I'm paying for that kid's education.
Thank you. You're a great man, Vic.
How could you gamble the business away? It's in my sister's name, isn't it?
I didn't gamble it away exactly.
Well, what
Oh,
happened?
no.
Fucking Tony Soprano. It's a bust out. You get in debt to them, and when you can't pay them, they become your partners, and then they fucking eat through everything like fucking termites.
You know that other party who said he saw something that we know didn't happen?
Yeah?
He realizes now he didn't see what we know didn't happen. T?
Yeah.
Sleep well, my friend.
You know, when I was in Italy, I met somebody that reminded me of you. You know what she said to me?
What did she say?
She told me that I'm my own worst enemy. She's one of them witchy broads. They believe all this weird shit, like Sybil's.
Sybil's?
Well, like I said, you had to be there. Okay, so I wanted to fuck her. But I mean, she was right, what she said.
The question is, how do you stop?
You know what?
What?
I dodged a very big bullet, and I'm feeling pretty fucking good about it. So I don't need any more psychiatry today.
Get the fuck out of here with that. Why? Because I'm a paraplegic?
My idea was for you to donate it to the Spinal Cord Injury Foundation.
Hey, I'm gonna walk again, Tony.
Take the money. You can whack it up with the foundation.
Fuck you, Tony.
Take the money, Beans. You gotta take it. Thank you. Thank you.
This motherfucker guilted him
Thank you,
into it. Beansy. Gotta take it. Like this motherfucker.
Ramon.
Morning, missus. Oh, Mr. Mustono has come.
Oh. Oh, was he okay?
Oh, yeah, but he has to go to the other job.
Oh. Okay.
Made her look silly than a motherfucker.
Now listen, driving a boat's not like driving a car, because you got no brakes to slam on and you can't make any quick turns. 620 horsepower.
Stop! On your starboard! On your starboard! Look out!
Yo, the extras on this show be so whack. Turn in. First, let me start by saying don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you are subscribed, make sure to hit the notification bell. Shout out to all the new viewers. Shout out to all the subscribers. And have a Patreon with full-length early reactions to things like this. If you'd like to, check it out. So this was an interesting episode. Once again, it starts with a guy who they went out of their way. Like I said, it's something strange about the extras in this one. It's like the show is serious, has serious tones, could be funny at parts, but the extras just all seem comical to me. I don't think there's one extra I've seen who's right. Even them cops, and then the guy who was telling, it was just they made it a point to be like, see, he's an upstanding citizen, right? So Tony, he's panicking. And of course he is, because, hey, he go down for that. Now, the funny thing about this is, on the other side, you got Pussy who, that Fed is telling him, look, how the fuck could you not let me know about this, blah, blah, blah. He's like, it wasn't me. He's like, I'm going to just choose to believe you, which is hilarious, right? We clearly, everyone, not everyone, but them too, clearly he did it, right? He was in on it. He was a husky gentleman. But like I said, all of them are husky pretty much, right? It's like two of them who aren't. And so he wants him to say something on tape about it. And the fact that Pussy told him, like, hey, suppose the person would have done this, wouldn't that make him closer and get him in good and sort of stop him having his doubts about me being a snitch in the first place, right? I guess that's a good point, but but the guy was not trying to hear any of that. He's like, you don't want to see my dark side, which lets me know at some point we're probably going to see his dark side. Like even him, he's not an extra, right? And he has like that lisp, and you see him, but he just doesn't seem comical, right? He's sincere. Characters may have quirks, but I don't see them as like just straight up comical. But the extras, yeah, I don't know what that's about. Then you have Tony, who's sitting there and he's freaking out for real. It is kind of crazy because he's sitting there, he's going to meet Richie, and the murder that he just committed, it's haunting him right then and there. And, you know, he used to eat that type of shit. But the thing is, it made him think about his kid. Like, all of this made him think about Anthony Jr. to the point where when he talks about wanting to spend more time with him, Carmela is like, hey, Meadow is about to leave. He's like, Meadow's good, which she is, and we're going to get into that later. Meadow, yeah, it's this interesting thing that she is now that she's that age. But to see Tony be petty later on, right? So he wants to go fishing with his son. Well, he has the thing, but he wants to go to the movies. He's like, we go fishing some other time, but go to the movies. He's like, I want to go to the mall. And Tony act like he don't understand going to the mall. Well, what are you going to do there? Was he having a double date? And he actually complained about this to Dr. Melfi. And it's just funny because, okay, I can understand. You're losing someone who you love and are close to. But my God, part of this is on you. Like, you kept them at arm's distance. Like, you don't really fuck with them like that. Like, right? And so later on, he has the swim meet. Carmela tells him about it, and he goes, like he brings up the fact that his son didn't want to go to the movies with him. Oh, so I got to go there. And it was like, how petty is that? She's like, oh my God, what are you, 6? It's funny. And then that ends up leading all the way to her laying hands on him. Her laying hands on him coincides with her just feeling another dude outright. And what's interesting about that is I feel like today, as shows are written, there would have been more of a build up to that. But back then they were still on that sort of episodic, Like, even though there's an overarching story, it's still partially episodic. And so on this episode, they covered Carmela, her infatuation with this dude. It just seemed, because I'm watching a bunch of modern stuff now, that happened, it just seemed so quick, right? But it wasn't done bad or anything like that, right? At all. Because it was just funny. Because as soon as you saw his face, you like you could tell the entire storyline by his face when he saw Carmela. Like, dead ass. How many of y'all, when y'all first saw that, immediately knew, oh, I see where this going immediately. And then when Carmela fell in line and she having that restless slumber and she tossing and turning, I'm like, oh shit, Carmela, where this going? And then they just, start making out hilarious. She's like, oh Jesus. And she just, and the thing that's funny about it, she's like, I've never done nothing like this. As I said, normally today we would see this sort of kind of build up, right? But on this, okay, see it. Now, what I wasn't expecting was for him to go talk to his brother-in-law, his scumbag brother-in-law. Now, make no mistake about it. What they do, they're scumbags, right? We find them cool and all that shit. They're scumbags. And I'm talking about the Sopranos. But the brother-in-law of the wallpaper guy, Tony's friend from high school, he was a gambler who gambled away even his son's future. He gambled away his wife and his, nest egg. Right? Like, he got rid of their nest egg. Then he got rid of what little cash he had left. And then he got rid of the business. And it's like, oh. Now, here goes something that was interesting that made me realize something. Because I had read a headline that sort of talked about this, and what it basically was insinuating was the reason why a bunch of younger people who hadn't originally watched The Sopranos or who weren't even alive then understand The Sopranos is because these characters sort of mimic what is kind of the status quo of success within the U.S. And so when I saw Tony look at that man crying and basically say, like, what fuck is wrong? Fuck is the matter with you? Like, get over it. Like, you gonna be good after this is done. I'm the one who got problems. It was like, well, I'm not asking him to feel sorry for the dude, but to have that reaction, it was like, word, you can't understand why this guy, he's assed out. Now, he's a dumbass and he's a piece of shit. And Tony tried to push him away. But when Tony let him do it, I believe I asked that. I wondered aloud, why did Tony let him do it? Oh, that's the answer, of course. He's like, cuz, you got the business. Like, I am who I am. And he said the frog and the scorpion. And I cannot remember. What's funny is, one of y'all are going to remind me of this. In a famous scene, somebody tells that story. He said, it's my nature, I'm a scorpion. And I can't remember which movie that's from. Was it a Tarantino film? I cannot recall. I can't recall, but of course it's a story before that film, but it's a famous film that utilizes it. And it was the first time I had heard that story when I was younger. Okay. So when I saw Tony that way, it hit me like, oh, wait a minute. A lot of businessmen and just people in our society sort of had that mindset, even politicians. It's this thing of, well, you did that. Like, so you want me to suffer? Like, I'm the one who got to deal with shit. Your life is easy. Look at what you, okay. But that's one thing, right? Because you could see that guy, degenerate gambler. You could be like, yeah, Tony's right. But then you see Tony bitching and complaining. And I've never thought he's been bitching and complaining. I just never saw it as that. I just saw him trying to work through some things early with Dr. Melfi. Which, now going and thinking about it, if I were to go and look back, there's probably a lot of bitching and complaining. But in this one, that motherfucker was acting. And when she said, you're scared, yeah, he was. And it came out of him in this sort of way of like, why me? And I don't deserve this. And what did I do? Let's take away, oh, it's wrong to kill people. Let's take that away. We already know that, right? As a gangster, he was fucking stupid. He's the man in charge. What fucking reason is he going to do this hit? You dumb son of a bitch. When you have a bunch of people willing to do it for you. Right? Before we even get to it's a crime, you're a criminal. What do you mean you don't deserve this? like, you know what I mean? You're fucking with the community. You're fucking up people. Right? Like, he was bitching and complaining. It was like, God damn, Tony, you don't get this? And then the way he was with his son to just not recognize, yo, your son don't, or even with his wife, yo, that's on you, my guy. And looking back on it, it's like, oh shit, he was bitching and complaining this whole time. I just found the whole concept of the show cool, so I never even really got into the fact that, yo, he out here copping please, yo. Then you have, I said I was going to talk about this, Meadow. We saw Meadow early on, and she was at that stage, and this happens quick with teenagers. It's like from 16 to 18, 19, where you'll see them sort of shift, because I can remember this. There was this moment where you're still figuring out the particulars of being a human, right? Because when you're younger, you're not thinking about that. You're just going on about life. But then there's these moments as a teenager where things are coming at you. You're starting to understand. It's almost like you awaken. It's like this great awakening. And kids, this is happening to kids younger, by the way. Like I see it like for middle schoolers, especially with this onset of like all this knowledge they could get online and stuff, where they sort of figure things out. Okay, they're in the middle of it, and you saw Meadow kind of acting out and she's doing stuff. Her father asked her, yo, you know I love you. And it seemed like she was worried about him. And that's one of these signs of like growth. Because, you know, when kids are younger, they sort of lack empathy. And even her, just last season, a few episodes ago, her empathy wasn't there. But as they get older, it's sort of this thing. So she saw her father there. Oh, yeah, I know that you love me. Okay. Then he keeps going. And she's like, I got to go. Right. You know, I know you think I'm a hypocrite and blah, blah, blah. And then she does one last thing that shows this empathy. All of us are kind of hypocrites or something like that, she says, right? And it's like, yeah. She saw how her father was, and it seems she was looking out for his feelings. And remember how she sort of resented him? It's past that. Now she's like, she almost feels sorry for him, you could see. And it almost seemed like she's like, she wanted to watch out for him in her own little way in that moment, right? She don't really got no power in the situation, except that in that moment he gave it to her. And that's one of those things, as you get older as a parent, you start having conversations like that with your kid. He wouldn't have a conversation like that with Anthony Jr., right? Anthony Jr. is young, but he asked his daughter that. And she said what she said, right? And I don't know. It's one of those things where it's interesting. And now it makes you wonder, like looking back, when she said, why don't you spend time with Meadow? And, you know, I feel like the last time he spent time with her, or most of the times he spends time with her, I won't say it's intimidating, but it's like, I can't pull the wool over her eyes no more. Right? The whole fatherly mystique is gone. And I feel like that almost scares Tony. Right? But with Anthony Jr., he's still at that age where he knows what's going on, but Tony still sees it as, oh, I could fix this. He knows he already lost Meadow. That's how he feels in his mind. So when Carmela asked that, it was like deeper than the answer he gave. Yo, another good episode. I didn't expect to talk that much on that episode, actually, but this was a good one, and I enjoyed it. You know, yeah, I had fun with it as usual. Next episode.